Okay.
She might want to hear from them, but.
I hear you.
Oh, we're back. Okay. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, I did. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mike. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me let you go. All right. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Are the prosecutors coming down? We don't. Do you need to write it down or remember it? Okay, you're cool. Thank you.
All right. Is that person ready? Hi. Who's on Edgar Alcantar? Come forward.
So just the issue we're talking about, the immigration issue this morning.
Mhm.
But we can just set up a trial because I can't plead him without a letter.
No, my question is, did you speak with the MAC attorney?
No, Judge. I had
Okay,
to go-
where's
I had
Mac?
to go to another court.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, have somebody from MAC come down, the immigration person, to speak to him.
So the judge, he had an attorney that he'd like to hire that advised him to get his residence.
Okay, but that hasn't been done. So what's going to end up happening is you'll be back tomorrow for jury trial. So Ms. Ferguson, recall them for tomorrow for jury trial then.
So so this guy's not gonna be able to talk to his immigration lawyer.
This has been going on since March of 2023 with him and his immigration attorney. Now, what I've done today, he's appointed. I'm having managed assigned counsel brought down. Nobody wants to do that. So he's coming back for jury trial tomorrow. So I don't know how long people want me to have somebody wait around here for them to hire an immigration attorney. That's not going to last forever.
What I was asking for was 2 weeks this morning, Judge,
Yeah.
before he just told me to sit and wait for Mac.
Yes,
This
because
is his second setting here in court.
he was here in March 23rd, 2023.
Mhm.
For him to talk to an immigration attorney. So what has happened? We're here in May and an immigration attorney still hasn't been talking to. He's waiting to hire one.
He has talked to one. He cannot pay him for a couple of weeks. We came
Okay.
back. Today's the plea day. All we were going to ask is for 2-week extension so he could do that.
All right, see you guys tomorrow. Ms. Ferguson, give them a reset for tomorrow, please.
Ma'am, last time I was here, you told me to.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
So Judge, are you saying that you won't accept this plea if he takes it tomorrow?
I'm saying he needs to come back tomorrow. I don't understand what people don't understand what I'm saying. He needs to be back here tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. Come back tomorrow.
So is his plea deadline gone? As an attorney, I'm trying to
Come back
advise.
tomorrow.
You don't mind being this. Okay.
All right, can I see the file on Emmanuel Ramirez? Yes, Ramirez Laura, or Lara. Ramirez Laura, it's 2023 CR 2284.
It was terrible. No, well, they don't know what it is. It didn't make us Yeah. They tell me you're gonna have to keep on the color. You know? And then he's gone. Oh, text me.
Judge,
Hi,
hi. On Thursday, I know actually, Mr. Mauer is here. We have a sentencing on Brandon Guzman.
yes.
I just was trying to figure out what time would that be at?
How many witnesses are we anticipating?
We may, I mean, it depends, but we're gonna have. Oh, I mean, we're talking to at least eight.
All right, let's have a conference with you and Mr. Mauer.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right, is there a reason why the court's files are not here? Could somebody explain that to me? Did no one receive the memo that we were coming back this afternoon? I'm just wondering.
What's wrong with him? Yes. So maybe I'm still. Judge, I think already John DeNick was gonna, I know he wanted to vote on this continuous whenever the book ready.
Well, you know, when we have files, we will proceed. Yes.
Y'all go back to work on that? Where you going? Oh.
All right, so here's my question. All of the files that are remaining from this morning, could I just have them all? In anything, thank you. And Norm, I need Leslie Sakwanowicz back here. Robert, have you finished with your paperwork?
30 seconds more, we're ready to go.
Okay, so I'm going to take this plea up so that the deputies can take him back.
Sounds good.
And then we'll take Mr. Nichols up next.
Yeah, because it's.
Oh, I just grabbed the box, so we'll see what's in it.
Okay. One guy. Hey, Jake, I found a motion to set bond on a case. It's still the bond, it's right, still like one.
Yes.
Yeah, count one on the wall.
Yes, yes, yes. You're welcome. I'm sorry, what? All right, well, we'll take up his case. Yes. Mhm. Oh my gosh.
His girlfriend. Yes. But that kid. It was a phone call. When he was, video. And so. I'm pretty involved. Maybe it's not. It's the memo. Please. After a solo shenanigans where he was talking back to this. Cured error pretty well.
While they are waiting to swear him in, can you mute us? And then if I could see you all in the hall. Okay. Fun. I know, but we're still, let me call you back. All right, Mr. Mauer, you can bring your client up. And is he pleading to 3 cases?
3 cases, all the other felonies and all the misdemeanors are getting done.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, see, that is so awesome. Thank you very much.
I think I signed them all.
We will find out. We will discover. And is there one count in each cause number or no?
No, Judge, the 2 counts in the death, one.
Okay.
That and everything else is just. No problems.
All right, court is calling 2023 CR 0305, 2023 CR 0168B, and 2023 CR 0304, State of Texas versus Stephen Potter Neely. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Robert Mauer for defendant, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Potter?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
And each cause number, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. And each cause number, Mr. Neely, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review those documents with your attorney and did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I did.
State and cause number 2023 CR 0168B. Are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes.
And in cause number 2023 CR 0304, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
And in cause number 2023 CR 0305, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we're proceeding on count 1 and waiving count 2.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Potter, and each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And cause number 2023 CR 0305, you're charged with the offense of theft, 30,000 to 150,000 of a vehicle. In 2023 CR 0304, you're charged with evading arrest, detention with the vehicle. Both of those causes are 3rd-degree felonies. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. And cause number 2023 CR 0168B, you're charged with the offense of burglary of a habitation force. That's a 2nd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for in either of the cause numbers, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
In each of the cause numbers, you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
In each of the cause numbers, by entering these plea bargain agreements, you were giving up those rights. Did you understand? And in each of the cause numbers that you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in each of the cause numbers.
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense in each cause number?
I do.
Mr. Potter, in each of the cause numbers, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreements in each cause number?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
In each cause number, are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
In each cause number, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
In each cause number, I'm showing you what's entitled plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And each of the cause numbers, the state is requesting that your punishment be assessed at 3 years in the prison. All of the cases will run concurrent. There are There's several cases that are being taken in consideration, and you are to agree that you acted as a party with Robert Alvarez and Aria Frosto in cause number 2023 CR 0305 and 2023 CR 0168B. Did you understand
Yes,
that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes,
State?
it is, Your Honor.
Each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver repeal. Did you review that with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am. Your
Did
Honor.
you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions in either of these cases?
No, ma'am.
And cause number 2023 CR 0168B, showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that there be restitution for all complainants in the above named cases, and those are the cases that were taken in consideration. Is that correct, state?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Did you understand those are recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. And cause number 2023 CR 0305 to count one, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
Guilty.
And cause number 2023 CR 0168B, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
And in cause number 2023 CR 0304, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty, Your Honor.
State any evidence?
Yes, in each of the cause numbers, Your Honor, the state offers state exhibit number 1 with all its attachments. No objection.
In each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? Did you sign them in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
And each of the cause number, again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
In each of the cause numbers, did you understand the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. And cause number 2023 CR 0305, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. And cause number 2023 CR 0168B, court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. And cause number 2023 CR 0304, court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge, but ask away PSI.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We can pass the court follow the plea bargain.
And cause number 2023 0305, the court will find you guilty, sentence you to 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2023 CR 0168B, 2023 CR 0304. Take in consideration 2023 CR 0306, 0307, 0825, 0826. County Court cause numbers 696154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161. And you are to agree that you acted with a party or as a party with Robert Alvarez and Aria Frosto. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing in that cause number?
Not from defense, Judge.
And that cause number, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
And cause number 2023 CR 0168B. Court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2023 CR 0305 and 2023 CR 0304. Take in consideration 2023 CR 0306, 307, 825, 826, misdemeanor cases 696154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161. And there's to be restitution, if any, and the above cases taken into consideration. And that caused, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And cause number 2023 CR 0304, the court will find you guilty, sentence you to 3 years in prison. Your credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2023 CR 0168B, 2023 CR 0305. Take in consideration 2023 CR 0306, 307, 825, 826. County Court cause numbers 696154, 696155 through 161. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Good luck to you. How old are you?
18 years old, ma'am.
All right, you're 18. You're starting out a horrible life of crime. You're going to have to make changes. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself living at the prison, living at the Bexar County Jail. If there's a drug or alcohol problem, there are plenty of places for you that are free. You understand? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Excuse-
Yes. Who is Leslie Sakanowicz's client? Who is it? Yeah. You say Laura? Thank you, Norma. Okay, I would like to have one question answered for me. Why don't I have this file? The file for Leslie Sakanowicz's client. Why don't I have it? Where is it?
Mr. Acevedo paperwork on AJ Delgado.
Okay,
That's the work out. It's gonna be a time off for you.
all right, thank you. All right. While we're searching for that file, are you guys ready on Nicholas?
Yeah, state's ready.
All right. Where's Nicholas?
Right.
Come forward.
Your Honor, is there any way we can, since I do have multiple witnesses, 3 witnesses, we can do it from the desk?
That's fine with the court.
Okay. From the where, Your Honor?
They're doing it from the desk.
I got you.
I got you. I see. Okay, thank you.
I'm about to take off.
Court is calling 2008.
One moment.
Yeah, moving up. I'm moving over here.
Oh, it says here, yeah, it just came in like that, but it's indicted as a.
That's so. Do everything. Look at it. now.
Okay. My way.
Court is calling 2018 CR 3520W State of Texas versus Jonathan Nicholas. All right, could I have parties announced for the record?
Denise Harrison for the state of Texas, Your Honor.
Defense?
Char for Jonathan Nichols.
All right, defendant enter pleas of true. The court found the pleas of true. True? All right, and defense, I think you filed a motion for continuance?
Yes, Judge, I did file a motion for continuance. I would like to withdraw that this time.
All right, then any objections to the withdrawal of the motion for continuance?
None from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Then the motion for continuance is withdrawn. State, do you have witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, 3 witnesses.
We didn't vote the rule.
All right, the rule is invoked. So if you're going to testify, you'll need to wait outside. State, call your first witness.
Thank you. State calls Sergeant Stephen O'Neill.
Oh, I forgot. Do you want the little iPad? Yeah, here you go. They're doing paperwork. You're our deputy. I was like, there you go. Mhm.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, just have a seat. And to the clerk, do you know where that file is? Okay, all right, thank you.
Judge, one little housekeeping. I do have a computer here with a disk for your privy and your view, which is regarding certain evidence. Where would you like for me to put it?
Oh, is it something that is sensitive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, just whenever you're ready, submit it. And if they have no objection, you can just bring it forward and the court will look
Okay.
at it. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Am I do?
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Steve O'Neill,
All right. State,
Neal.
you may proceed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant O'Neill, who do you currently work for?
I'm assigned to the Child Exploitation Unit of the Office of the Attorney General for the state of Texas.
And what are your duties with the Attorney General's office?
I investigate crimes involving child exploitation and the exploitation of minors.
And how long have you been in law enforcement?
I've been in law enforcement for approximately 24 years.
And how long have you been doing child cases?
I've been assigned with the Attorney General's office for the past 3 years.
3 years. And regarding the child cases, with your training experience, are you able to tell when it comes to child pornography, if a child's prepubescent or post-pubescent
Yes,
with your training experience?
yes, ma'am.
You heard earlier the defendant Jonathan Nichols plead true to having a cell phone and plead true to using the name Honey Badger. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and let's start with the name Honey Badger. Did you receive tips, cyber tips regarding the name Honey Badger?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please explain to the court how do you receive cyber tips?
A service provider in this particular incident, Google, had reported 5 cyber tip reports to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Those reports were found to be under the purview of the Office of the Attorney General of Texas, and they were sent to us, which were then funneled down to myself to investigate those cases.
And how do you start the investigation?
Upon reviewing the report, I will then ascertain if there's any type of identifying information inside said report, which in this case, there was internet protocol or IP addresses that I was able to send subpoena on for subscriber information.
And with the cyber tip, does it give you names like screen name or in this case, a Google name?
Yes, there was a username, I believe, and then email addresses.
Okay. And what was the username?
Honey Badger.
And after you sent off the subscriber information, what did you do next in your investigation?
After I received results from AT&T in reference to subscriber information, it returned to an address in San Antonio. The address was 13506 Owl Tree. I researched whom would live at that address.
And who lived at that address?
My crime analyst, Landra Polanski, had returned information to me that identified Baltazar Luby, a Martha Nicholas, and a Jonathan Nicholas residing at that address.
And with your investigation, did you investigate these 3 individuals?
Yes, ma'am.
And through your investigation, what did you find?
Through information I obtained through a search warrant submitted to Google, upon viewing photographs and videos in the Google account, I was also able to identify Jonathan Nicholas as the owner of that account based on his driver's license photograph provided to me by my crime analyst and based on the images and pictures I found in the Google account belonging to Honey Badger.
And just a brief description, what kind of images did you find in this Google account?
There were some self-made videos of Mr. Nicholas. There were images of his driver's license in there. I believe there was images of his medications.
Any other information?
There were additional images of child pornography located in that account as well.
Do you remember how many images?
I don't recall the exact amount of images that was in the Google account. I know we described one in my narrative for reporting purposes.
And after you received the information for the Google account, what did you do next in your investigation?
We conducted surveillance at the residence and identified vehicles parked there that belonged to Martha Nicholas and Luby Baltazar.
And after you did surveillance of the residence, did you obtain a search warrant and an arrest warrant?
Yes, ma'am. At that time, we realized that we were learned that Mr. Nicholas is a registered sex.
Object, Your Honor, this witness can testify from his own personal knowledge and not say we. And
All
stick
right.
to what he personally
What's
did.
your legal objection, counsel?
Your Honor, he can testify to his personal knowledge because he was there.
My question is, what is your legal objection?
Legal objection.
I'm
is-
sorry, is your microphone turned?
There's the microphone.
It's right there.
Is it green?
It's green.
Sorry.
Will
My
you pull it
legal
over?
object-
Well, will you pull it over to?
This,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's.
My legal objection is that a witness.
Is it hearsay? Is that your objection?
Say, denies the
Sustained.
right to confront the witness.
All right. Ask your next question.
With your personal knowledge, did you obtain this, a search warrant and an arrest warrant?
After I conducted my surveillance and the information I obtained during my investigation, I contacted Oscar Salinas, who's an assistant district attorney with Bear County, and reviewed the information with him in reference to Mr. Nicholas being a registered sex offender and the information contained in the cyber tip reports of the child pornography that he had uploaded to his Google account. And it was agreed that arrest warrants would be obtained for Mr. Nicholas and also a search warrant for his residence.
And do you remember what day you you went and searched the house?
I believe, if memory serves, it was December 6th.
And can you please tell the court what happened on that day?
Once the team arrived at the residence, I observed an individual I recognized to be Martha Nicholas at the back door of the residence. I identified myself to her, informed her that we had a search warrant to search the residence. I asked her if Jonathan was at home. She told me that he was at home and he was inside. Prior to the team making entry into the residence, there was a dog that seemed somewhat vicious. We allowed Mrs. Nichols to obtain control of that dog and asked Jonathan to step outside, which he complied.
How long did it take for Jonathan to come outside when you after you had contact with the mother?
There was approximately about a 3 to 4 minute window of her going back in the house and then him coming outside.
And after he came outside, did you have contact with him?
I did.
Did you read him his rights?
I informed him of our reason for being at the residence. I asked him if he would like to speak with me. He indicated that he would. I escorted him to my vehicle where I have set up to do a recorded interview. And once we got into the vehicle, I advised him of his Miranda rights, to which he stated that he understood and waived them to continue speaking with me.
And during that conversation, did you ask him if he had a phone?
I did. Initially on the porch, I asked him if he had a cell phone. He told me he didn't. And then I reiterated to him in the vehicle again to explain to me he didn't have a cell phone.
Okay. Nothing, there was nothing substantive from his interview with you, was there?
Nothing other than denial.
After the interview with the defendant, what did you do next?
After I interviewed Mr. Nicholas, I went back and asked Mrs. Nicholas if he had a phone. She instructed that she does not aware that he has a phone. I went inside and met with my team that was conducting the search. They informed me that through searching through his stuff, they had
Objection, hearsay, denies the
Sustained.
right to confront the witnesses.
During the initial search, are you aware if there was a phone found?
I was aware that we found a phone.
And how did you go about finding the phone?
I recalled during a conversation that was found in Mr. Nicholas's Google account that he had texted a phone number to an individual. That number also matched a phone number that he had listed for himself on his Texas driver's license application. I entered the residence. I instructed everyone inside the residence to hold the noise down. I called the phone number and I heard a phone buzzing.
And when you heard the phone buzzing, were you able to locate it?
I was able to locate the phone.
And can you please explain to the judge where the phone was?
The phone was located in a small desk drawer just inside the master bedroom.
And after you found the phone, did you call it again to verify?
I did. I called the number again and noted that my phone number was showing up on the screen of that phone as the one calling in.
And did you retrieve that phone for evidence?
I did.
And what did you end up doing with that phone?
That phone was able to be unlocked on scene. At that time, we would usually, the investigators would conduct an on-site preview. Whatever, go ahead.
Okay, and are you the one who conducted the on-site preview?
I was not.
Okay, and who conducted the on-site preview?
Sergeant Hillary Lyon,
So the last thing.
Lyon. Yes, ma'am.
And then after they that you're aware they did an online preview of the phone, what did you do next with the phone?
The phone was then logged into evidence on an inventory sheet, and then I secured all evidence and transported that evidence back to the Georgetown Police Department to be secured in temporary evidence lockers there.
Okay. Are you aware if there was a phone a forensic download of the phone,
Yes,
and who conducted that?
Sergeant Barry Greer with the Attorney General's office.
And on scene, what did you do next after you found the phone on scene?
After the phone was located and turned over for processing, I explained to Mr. Nichols that there were warrants issued for his arrest and he would be taken into custody, and I transported him to the Bexar County Jail.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1.
You already marked it?
Yes, I have. Please, explain to me what's on, what we are looking at.
This is a disc that contains the cyber tips that were involved in this case.
And did you have a chance to look at it?
I have.
And are those true and accurate to the cyber tips that you received?
Yes, ma'am.
Has it been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
And did you put your badge number and date it to verify that you looked at this disc?
Yes, ma'am.
May I take this witness on a brief vote diary, Your Honor?
Yes.
Um. Sergeant, good afternoon. All right, so did you personally create State's Exhibit number 1?
No, I did not, sir.
Okay. Who did, if you know?
I do not know.
Okay. Have you ever seen what's on it, on that particular exhibit?
Yes, sir. I viewed it
Okay. When?
this morning.
Okay. And so you're relying on another person that works in your office that made that disc, and you're basically vouching for it, that contains cyber tips. Is that correct?
No, sir. I'm not aware of who made that disc.
Okay,
I know that disc contains the cyber tips included in the case
okay. How do you know that?
because I viewed them this morning.
Okay. And what is a cyber tip?
A cyber tip is a report made by an internet service provider, as in this case, it was Google, to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children when questionable files of child exploitation or child sexual abuse material is found in their servers. They report that to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, at which time, once that report comes in, NCMEC is the acronym, they create a report. And then based on the IP address, they find out the location in the nation where this is occurring, and they send that to the agency in charge of investigating that.
All right, thank you. No further questions on board, Dyer.
All right, State.
Just one couple questions, Your Honor. This that I made and provided you this morning is a true and accurate copy of what you provided me regarding the evidence on this case, correct?
Yes, that is the cyber tips.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor. At this time, the state would like to admit State's Exhibit 1 evidence.
Any objection?
It's prejudicial, Judge, under Rule 403 of the Texas Rules of Evidence.
All right, that objection will be overruled. The court has joined a balancing test, and the court is going to find that it's more probative than prejudicial. State's Exhibit number 1 is admitted.
Your Honor, may I please approach the court with the computer?
Yes.
I'm not sure if defense wants to be up there too.
All right, if you'll approach.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
And defense, have you had a chance to view State's Exhibit number 1?
Well, I had an expert do that, Judge.
All right, if you'll bring the computer forward.
And the state would like to also state that defense did come to my office and did review all the evidence that we had that I was unable to physically hand it to them.
And to the court, State's Exhibit number 1 is going to end up being under seal. This means due to the confidential nature. And I'm assuming that it's child pornography.
Correct, Your Honor.
And so that is the reason why it'll be under seal.
Oh, then yes, I did do that.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm only gonna show the court a couple of them for me. I'm sorry. It's. I'll just let the court know, I'm going into cyber tip 88103-666 on the disc.
Number 8, not A for Alpha.
Yeah, 8.
Thank you, guys.
And the first one I will be showing the courts is the last part of it, because it is long. It is 2018 12-11 14.01.56 MP4.
Yes, and the court is viewing State's Exhibit number 1. All right, thank you very much.
Number 2 is the last of its Lety, LETY .WMV.MP4.
Right, thank you.
The next one, last of it's learning to take daddy.mp4.
Right, thank you.
Sergeant O'Neill, regarding the one with learning to take daddy and MP4, can you just say, can you give the court a brief description of the ending of it?
Yes, ma'am. During the video, it is apparent that the adult male is penetrating the genitals of the female child, and at the end of the video, it's a little over 3 minutes long. You can hear her crying and sobbing about the encounter.
Next one's E, last part of it's 85E19 MP4. And the last one I'm going to show the court is going to be 24607-361 MP4. Can you tell the court how
I'm sorry,
many?
give me 1 second again.
Okay, sorry.
I'm switching mics so I can hear you better.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please tell the court how many videos was on this first cyber tip?
I believe it was about 15 videos,
Any pictures?
two images.
Okay. And the ones I showed the court, you used those ones specifically for your warrant, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Regarding your investigation, is there anything else you did in regards to your investigation?
Once everything was submitted. Again, it was just on the 5 warrants of arrest that we obtained for Mr. Nicholas. And then upon completion of forensics, I reviewed the forensics report from Sergeant Greer.
And upon your review of Sergeant Greer's report, he's here to testify. But you did provide evidence to myself of more child pornography.
Yes, I did.
And in your training experience, the videos that I did show the court and that's on this cyber tips, with your training experience, does it meet the statute of child pornography?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions from this witness, Your Honor.
Defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant, do you know what a deep fake is?
Say that one more time.
A deep fake
No, sir.
video is?
No, sir.
Okay. What is your experience in training in determining whether something is actually a true picture of a child versus something that a video that someone creates that looks like a child, behaves like a child, but really is not a child, a deep fake?
Those are usually patently obvious when you view them.
Okay, so you are aware of what a deep fake is.
I had never heard it called that.
Okay, what would be a better word that maybe I can learn?
I've heard we've had cases where it's CGI.
Okay,
And those are obviously created by individuals who have experience in making those types of videos.
okay,
And then you have your legitimate video files.
okay. Isn't it true there's a database, law enforcement database, where you can take suspected child pornography and try to look through the database and actually identify the person that is depicted in the picture or the video?
There are databases. There's CVIP, which is Crime Victims Identification. Once we completed the investigation, and forensics is completed on that investigation, we send our forensics examiners complete a disc called a CVIP disc. We send that off to the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children. Those can be identified if, in fact, the child in the video has been identified. That's not always the case, meaning the child hasn't been identified before, but it doesn't negate the fact that at the time the video was created, that it was a child.
Okay, so for the cyber tips that we're talking about, were you or anyone in your unit or in the Attorney General's office or someone who worked with you at the Attorney General's office, did that type of analysis? Did y'all do that type of analysis? Did you go to the database and try to figure out who is this person? Is it a real person? And oh yeah, it is, because we have them in this database.
That report was sent upon completion of forensics. Yes, we sent a report to the National Center for Missing Exploited Children. And if memory serves, I want to say they've identified like 2 or 3 groups where the actual child victim has been identified in the video. But again, that's not a be all that ends all that determines if that is a video of child pornography or not.
Okay. All right, well, what about this technology that's really rearing its head, artificial intelligence, Chat GPT?
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of it?
No,
Artificial intelligence?
I've heard of artificial intelligence, but you used an acronym after that I'm not familiar with.
Okay. Chat GPT is an artificial intelligence program where you can tell a program what to do and it will actually do it. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with it. I'm sure it exists.
And what is your educational background
As far as
what that forms the basis of your knowledge in the area that you're talking about?
of identifying children.
Yes.
Well, I am a father. I raised children. I've raised a little girl. I have 24 years of law enforcement experience. I was a computer forensics examiner back in the early 2000s, investigating child pornography cases at a former agency I used to work for. And I have worked these types of cases for the last almost 3 years now.
Okay. And so how do you test to see if the images you're looking at are either deep fakes or created by artificial intelligence? How do you do that?
I can view them and tell that they don't appear to be fake at all.
Okay, is there a scientific way to determine if this is a picture of a real human being or not?
I'm not aware of one, but again, I have experience in viewing the videos and can tell that it's a real video with a real child victim.
Okay. I guess what I'm really asking is, do you have a background in computer science and things that are going on in the computer world?
Nothing current, no, sir,
Okay,
other than just knowledge and experience of the different applications and things like that, but a technical background into the computer side of things. No, I don't claim to be anything up to date as far as the technical aspects of programs and software that do different things like that.
okay. No further questions.
Just a couple, Judge. You've seen CGI, correct?
Yes,
And you've seen real child pornography, correct?
yes,
How many images of it do you think you have seen?
thousands.
And with your training experience, was this CGI?
No,
No further questions, Your Honor.
No further questions.
All right, this witness excused is subject to recall.
The state has no further questions from it. We would like ask for him to be excused.
No objection.
Or did I ask him a few spelling questions just real quick?
Yes.
The street name?
yes, it's Al, OWL, tree, TROWL, like,
Owl.
yes, ma'am. Free, PREE.
And then there was one person. who had something.
Baltazar Luby, BALTAZAR LUBY. Yes, ma'am.
The rule has been invoked. That means that you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state or the defense.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
State, call your next witness.
The state calls Sergeant Hillary Lyon. That's LYON.
You raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can have a seat. Make sure you keep your voice up. State your name for the record.
Hillary Lyon,
All right, state.
Thank you. Sergeant Hillary Lyon, who do you currently work for?
Texas Attorney General's Office,
Okay, and what unit do you work for?
the Child Exploitation Unit,
How long have you been working for the child exploitation unit?
a year and a half.
And before that, where did you work?
The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, and prior to that, Tyler Police Department,
And how long have you been in law enforcement?
since 2007.
And you were in court earlier when the defendant pled true to his MTR, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you heard him plead true to having us unauthorized cell phones, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you were you present on December 6th for the search warrant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, of 2022. Did you write a supplement?
No, ma'am.
Okay, why didn't you write a supplement?
Normally depending on our job on the search warrant, we usually aren't required to do so, depending on our job there. On this particular case, Steve's case, or Sergeant O'Neill's case, I was assigned search initially. And then when we discovered the cell phone, it would not hook up to Celebrite, which is our machine that we use to essentially dump the phones,
So
preview the phones.
so your unit actually brings the Cellebrite unit out, computer out to the scene.
Yes,
Okay.
our unit normally does that. Yes.
Okay, and you try when the phone was found, you try to hook it up to the Cellebrite,
I didn't, but yes, one of the members of our team did. Yes.
and you stated it was not able to be downloaded on scene.
Correct.
Okay, so when it was not able to be downloaded, what did you do?
We had to do a manual preview of the phone.
And can you please explain to the court what a manual preview is?
Basically, holding the phone, we record it on another device, usually our state phones, and manually open up the gallery photos on the cell phone in question and go through the videos and photos in the gallery,
And why do you do that?
just to see what is on the device itself.
And did you do that this day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you when you conducted the live preview of the phone, what did you preview yourself?
Several videos and images that were on the device in the gallery.
What kind of images on the device?
Nude images and videos of adult and child females.
Okay, so he had adult and child females on his phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you stated you recorded it, correct?
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm about to hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what is this?
This is the copy of a live preview that I conducted on that date.
And did you have a chance to look at it?
I did.
Okay, and this is the accurate copy of the live preview that you conducted on that day?
It is.
Has it been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
And hold on, let me get back over here. And you know, this is the disc that you looked at because did you initial it and put your badge number on it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And then you also you viewed it this morning, correct?
I did.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would like to admit State's Exhibit 2.
Any objection?
Can we approach, well, I don't know that we need to approach Judge. Our agreement was that the state would not pursue the allegations of new number ones. In fact, they dropped them in the motion to enter adjudication of guilt. And now they're spending all their time going on the allegations that
I
they
don't know
dropped.
what, I don't know what your agreement was with the state.
You're in agreement, what, we
I mean,
waived the mandate.
and here's the thing, my understanding is that an agreement that's reached, unless it's going to be placed before the court, it's supposed to be confidential, whatever your negotiations are. But if there was a specific plea bargain agreement amongst you that said the state would not be presenting evidence with regards to the viewing of child pornography, then the court will hear that.
Okay. Well,
And Your Honor, that was not the case, Your Honor. And what we are presenting the courts is what was on his unmonitored smartphone that he had in his possession. And the fact that he in individual items that goes to the honey badger name, that also had child pornography regarding the cyber tips.
Counsel, you did plead true to the moniker of honey badger in the motion to revoke.
that's true. That's true. And so I don't know why we're screwing it up.
I mean, it's the state has filed a motion to revoke. The court is here to hear whatever anyone wants to hear. I will let both parties know that I know that Mr. Nichols has pled true to these allegations.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm aware of that. All right, let's take a short recess. Can you meet us? All right, state, any more questions?
It was just the minutes of statement that it to Your Honor.
All right, any objection to state's exhibit number 2 defense?
Objection irrelevant. We've already pled true to that allegation that was cited previously.
All right, defense objection will be overruled. State's exhibit number 2 is admitted.
Thank
And
you.
it will be admitted under seal.
Robert, Your Honor.
Yes.
I'll make
Defense,
this
would you like to
witness
come
go to
forward
the
as well?
part.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any further questions of this witness
The state
state?
has no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Defense, any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you. The rule has been invoked. That means you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state of defense. All right, state, any other witnesses?
The state has no further witnesses at this time.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Judge, we've called Martha Nicholas. I'll go get it.
Thank you.
Can she be, released, Your Honor?
Any objection? Yes. All right, defense, if you have your witness come forward. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And those should be under seal. All right, thank you. If you'll take a seat here, please. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record, please.
Martha Nicholas.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, could you please introduce yourself to the judge and spell your full name?
Judge, my name is Martha Nicholas, Martha Nicholas. I'm Jonathan's mother,
Okay. And how old is Jonathan?
37.
How old?
37.
Okay, pull that microphone a little bit closer to you. All right. All right. Do you have any other children besides Jonathan?
I do not. He's my only son.
Okay. Did he go to school?
Yes, he did.
How far did he go in school?
He has college. He has an associate's in surgical tech.
Pull the microphone a little bit.
He does have college, yes.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Does Jonathan have any serious health problems?
He does. Just recently, this past year, he got COVID and he was sick for a couple of weeks and then it developed into pneumonia to where we had to take him to the hospital. Jonathan does have severe sleep apnea. And so we were concerned about that. And while he was in the hospital, it was determined that he had heart failure.
Okay.
He also does have hypertension, high blood pressure, and he is diabetic.
Okay. What type of diabetes? Type 1 or type 2?
The thing is that he's not on insulin or anything like that. It was in when I took him to his primary care doctor that she noticed that his blood sugar was high. So I have a letter where she states what she treated him for.
Okay. Now, after your son was arrested and placed in the jail, there were very high bonds set. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
About $500,000 in bonds, something like that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And with his health conditions, tell the judge about your contact with the jail in trying to get him medication or other medical devices and whether or not it was a struggle.
Okay. Yes, it was a struggle. I tried to get him his CPAP, which he needs.
What is a
A
CPAP?
CPAP is a breathing device
Okay.
that he uses while he sleeps. It took maybe 6 days, I believe, to get that to him. When I was in contact with the nurses at the jail, we talked about the medications that he was on. And
What medications was he on?
I also have a list of that, but he was taking Entresto for his heart, which was my concern.
Why?
Because they weren't able to get him that. And he specifically has to have that medication. They gave him another medication,
Who's they?
the nurses there, the physician assistant, the PA at the jail.
Okay,
Entresto. They gave him Farxiga or something has to do with kidney failure and another medication to take its place. And I realized that when he did come out on bond 30 days later, he was not feeling well. I had to take him to the cardiologist. So the medication he had for those 30 days was not enough.
not enough for what?
To sustain him. I mean, it has to do with his weight and other issues.
Right.
So he was feeling tired. He was having trouble breathing. He would walk short distances and have trouble breathing.
Okay. All right, so did you see a decline in his health while he was in jail?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I did talk to one of the nurses there, and I told her specifically we had just gotten the prescription for that medication.
For the
And-
Intestrol?
Entresto, and it's
And what is that for?
It's for heart failure.
Okay.
And it's a very expensive medication. I hadn't opened the prescription. I could have had the prescription sent over directly. And she said, no, ma'am. She goes, we don't do that. She said, this is the county. You'll get what you get.
All right. So what medication, if you remember, did they end up giving her? Did end up giving the
Farxiga,
jail to give to Jonathan?
Farxiga was one of them.
Okay,
I wrote them down. I do have them at home, and I wrote down the nurse that gave it to him,
okay,
their name.
all right. Was he also, before he went to jail, did he have regular doctor visits with his cardiologist?
The heart failure, we didn't discover until he went to the hospital for COVID and pneumonia. It ended up not being that, it ended up being fluid in his heart that was causing him to drown in that. That's what was causing the gurgling sound in his lungs.
Okay. Was he also being prescribed medication for his cholesterol?
Yes,
Okay, does he have high cholesterol?
yes.
What about, let's go back to his heart for a second. Did he have a catheter for his heart?
They would not put the catheter in until he lost a little bit of weight. Because he
who's
could
they?
code, the doctor, the cardiologist,
Okay,
because he can code
not the one at the jail, but,
at the hospital.
okay. All right, so does he need, according to the doctor advice, does he need a catheter for his heart?
Yes, he does.
Okay, and what's gonna happen if he doesn't get that?
He'll have heart failure. Can die.
All right. Was he also supposed to be taking water pills to help him get rid of
Yes.
the excess fluids in his
Yes.
body?
Yes.
All right, and so when I hear the phrase heart failure, I'm thinking like if something doesn't get done, he's gonna die, or someone's going to die, or get very, very ill, shorter than later. Is that, do you know if that's accurate?
It is accurate. His heart is operating anywhere between 35 and 45%.
And even when he got out of jail, did that percentage go up or go down, or is it staying the same, the 35-45%?
I wasn't told by the doctor exactly. We didn't know how much time he had. So I took him just to get him checked out and get a letter from him saying that he was treated at the hospital and in his office.
Okay. So did he get COVID in 2022 or 2021?
I believe it was 21.
Okay. And how serious did that virus affect him?
He may have been really sick about 2 months. But like I said, he does have a breathing apparatus at night. And so we thought it was that.
You thought it was what?
It was his sleep apnea. And
Okay.
it was not. He had full-blown pneumonia and he had fluid from his heart that was making him drown at night when he had that breathing apparatus on.
Okay. Now, you understand that your son is charged with some very serious charges,
I do,
correct?
correct.
What would you like to tell the judge as far as what she should do in this case? I mean, he's admitted to violating certain conditions of his community supervision, his probation, deferred adjudication. And now he has some new cases. What would you like to tell the judge to please do?
I would like to tell her that
Well, tell her.
no mother wants their son to die in prison. And if there's anything that I can do to help him, he needs help. I want the opportunity to do that for him. I love my son. He's my only son. I need him to help me, to support our home. It's just me and him. And I'm asking the court for mercy and to be lenient.
Thank you. No further questions. They may have some questions.
Sweet. Thank you. You heard your son earlier, admit to having an unauthorized cell phone, correct?
Did I hear him
Yeah,
earlier?
he pled true to having an unauthorized.
Oh,
cell phone.
yes, correct.
How did that cell phone get in your room, in your drawer?
I believe he put it there.
And how long did he have that cell phone for?
Cell phone was not his. The cell phone is an extra phone we had in the house. The phone, probation, the phone number they have on record is my cell phone. Only where I worked, I was not allowed to take that cell phone in. So when probation would call, they would leave a couple of messages on my voicemail where they needed to talk to Jonathan.
So I'm talking about the cell phone that they retrieved
Mhm.
from your, during the search warrant, from your room. You're saying, he must have put it there, but it wasn't his.
Right, we didn't buy it for him. I didn't buy it for him.
But he had access to it, correct?
Yes, ma'am, it was in my house, yes.
Earlier, a minute ago, defense, talked about his high bonds. Remember, he had high bonds? And do you remember, me asking you some questions during the bond hearing?
Yes,
And do you remember, me asking some questions in regards to, him not having access to any kind of phones in the house?
no, ma'am.
So you don't recall, you stating that he wasn't gonna be able to have any access to any additional
Oh,
phones?
that I made that comment. Yes,
Yes, okay.
that's correct.
But then after he was released on bond, when probation came to the house on March 2nd, 2023, he was, and he pledged true to it today. He had some more devices that he wasn't supposed to have, isn't that correct?
He has a flip phone that he has registered with probation.
But do you remember on the day when probation came, they took 2 more devices?
Those devices were looked at when they came the first time and they left them behind. When they came to search my house, they looked at those devices and they left them behind.
But probation on the day in March of this year, they took those devices, correct?
They did.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
because, and you heard him plead true that he was around them when he wasn't supposed to be around devices
There were
again.
devices that were, one was a broken phone. The other one was a notebook that it's so old, I don't even think it turned on anymore.
And you stated you wanted the court to have mercy and give him a second chance.
Yes,
No mother would want their child to die in prison.
yes.
But would you agree that no mother will want their child to be victimized over and over and over again by individuals?
I agree.
And would you agree that videos of child pornography victims are being, these little girls, little boys are being victimized every time someone watches it?
I do not agree. I don't think they're being victimized. I do not. If it's a video,
So you think it's okay for him to
they were
watch?
victimized the first time it was done, and whoever did that, I do not agree that that's correct. That's a good thing. No,
So you think it's okay for your son to look at
No.
child pornography?
no, it's not.
No further questions from this witness, Your Honor.
Just a brief redirect, Judge, if I may.
Yes.
Now, your son, Jonathan, was on deferred adjudication for the online solicitation of a minor, right?
Correct?
Okay. Was he actually talking to a minor or to an undercover police officer?
An undercover police officer.
Okay. Does Jonathan have a driver's license?
He does.
Does, can he drive?
He can.
Right. Does he have a car?
He does not.
Right. So what vehicle does he drive if?
I
he-
have 2 vehicles under my name and he doesn't drive either one. Like I said before, he has severe sleep apnea. So he dozes off. And then he has a heart condition, so I would not let him drive my vehicles. He
Okay.
doesn't have access to the keys to my vehicles. He's not on my insurance. He's also taking now medication for his heart.
Oh, let me ask you this. Is there any internet available in your home?
No,
Okay, why not?
it was ordered by the court.
Okay. And has that order been followed?
Yes, it has.
All right, so during the answering the questions from the prosecutrix, that when the search warrant was executed on your home, they left 2 phones behind, correct? The one was broken and the other one was just inoperable. Is that
Not 2
correct?
phones, 1 phone and
One-
1 notebook.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's a little
One
tablet.
phone,
Yes,
sorry to talk over you. One phone
And a
and
notebook.
1 notebook, correct?
correct.
And so do you know how old those devices are approximately?
They're more than 10 years.
Okay. Why do you keep them around? They don't want.
I didn't know how to dispose of them, so I just kept them. I mean, They were in a drawer. They were put away
Okay, whose drawer were they put
in my
away in?
desk drawer in my bedroom.
Okay. All right. Is Jonathan able to work?
He's able to work. It would have to be something inside, something that was not labor intensive.
Okay. Now, as part of his, him being on deferred adjudication probation, was he required to go to something called the STOP program?
Yes, STOP, stop.
Okay. And that is that a program where they do what they can to help people who are found guilty of sex-related crimes?
That is correct.
Okay. And I don't know if you remember all the meetings, but how many times a week would he have to go and participate in the treatment?
Once a week,
Okay. Would you take him there?
every time.
All right. Okay. After he was getting help, did you see any changes in him?
Good changes, yes. I was under the understanding everything was good. He always had positive conversation after his counseling.
And if the court were to continue him on deferred, continue him on probation, would you do anything and everything, including an extra mile, or do over and above what was required to make sure that your son complies with all the conditions that are set by the judge?
Absolutely.
I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this hearing. Oh, yeah. And as a condition of bond, was he ordered to wear an electronic monitor device, a GPS device?
Yes,
Okay. Were there ever any violations of that device?
none whatsoever.
And where you live, Jonathan lives with you, correct?
Yes,
So, does he go outside and play with kids or anything like that?
no,
Does he have visitors that come over to the house that are children?
no.
How bad would it break your heart if today was the last day you got to hold your son?
It would break me, sir.
Nothing further.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thanks for coming in to testify. All right, any other witnesses? Defense?
No, Judge.
State, any other witnesses?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor, just closing.
All right, the court has heard the plea of truth. The court is going to find the defendant guilty. Does anybody want to speak towards punishment? State, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, this particular time, he stays asking for 20 years due to the fact that he was, oh, sorry, it's a habit.
You saw my stare. did you?
Yes, I did. I felt it. Due to the fact that the defendant was already on probation for a child case. He's already a registered sex offender. He was in sex offender program with probation. And obviously none of this is working, Your Honor. And now we're here for more serious offenses regarding child pornography that he's in possession of, Your Honor.
So state, you're asking for 20?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, what are you requesting?
Thank you, Judge. I've come to know Jonathan and his mom. And these are the type of cases that really hit me. Because I know the system is geared
No,
against him. I'm not
Mhm.
saying you are, Judge. But I know that anytime you talk about children, it just gets everybody's backbone and they just want to throw them away and throw people away and, you know, lock them up and throw away the key. I don't know how long he's gonna, if he gets revoked, I don't know how long he's gonna stay alive in the prison system. And so what I would ask is that you continue him on deferred.
no, he's not going to be continued. I've already found him guilty. So the only question is how much time he's going to receive.
Okay. Well, we'd ask for no more than 5 years.
All right, anything you wish to say, Mr. Nicholas?
No,
All right. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 20 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and there's chapter 62 registration. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
No.
All right. You do have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Good luck to you, Mr. Nicholas. All right, the parties on AJ Delgado. I think they're gonna. Oh, good luck.
I'm sorry, Judge, did you call us to the bench? I
Yes,
didn't hear
it's
you.
gonna be Delgado. Mr. Shakem. Alex. Hi, is there anything that he has that he needs to give to his mom?
Probably.
All right, the
Probably.
deputies will let you do that. You are.
I'll be here on my birthday. Way to go, girl.
And Deshaun, there are no applications on this.
Liz and Shaw.
All right, court is calling 2023 CR 0282, State of Texas versus AJ Delgado. Can I have you announce for the record for the state?
Linda Shaw.
Defense,
Just possibility for the defendant, Your Honor.
are you Mr. Delgado?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
We have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Delgado, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Delgado, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated robbery? That's a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you enter a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he was, Your Honor.
Mr. Delgado, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There are no applications. There's been no contact with Donovan Treadwell. The state will take in consideration 2023 CR 0281, 2023 CR 1479, County Court Cause number 697768. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, sir.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest. No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State Office States Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Delgado, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of the client?
Your Honor, I have visited with this young man and his family. I'm just hoping to put this past them and turn this negative into a positive situation. Just ask that the court would follow the plea agreement.
All right, why should I follow this plea?
He has to pay for his,
No, I mean, why shouldn't I give you, like, why should I go along with 5 years prison? Why shouldn't I give you 20 or 15? Basically, what has happened in this case is that you and your friends decided to try to take a vehicle that did not belong to you. Well, actually, you did take it. And you know how they identified you? With that silly Marbach haircut that everybody seems they want to do, which, as my mom would say, that's really the Larry Curly Moe haircut. I don't know why people think that that is the haircut to be, but that's how you were identified. So,
Actually cut my hair was long, black, and all the way down.
yeah. So, and that's all you take away from that. How far did you go in school?
Very
So you're in 11th grade and stealing someone's vehicle that doesn't belong to you. Where did you see this ending? Did you think at some point in time that car was not going to be found? All cars have locators in them now. So how did you see this playing out? You're in Texas. You're lucky somebody didn't shoot you. And then you know what would have happened when somebody would have shot you? Your mom would have been crying on television, asking for that person to be arrested. And then you know what the citizens would have been saying? Oh, well, he got what he deserved. And they would have just moved on to the next person. Don't be that person, although my mom has already told me this. You know what my mom tells me every day? She says, Stephanie, you and the people in your age group can never retire. And you know why she can't? She says we can never retire? Because she said, look what's coming behind you. And so what we have coming behind us are people who are going out instead of working to get what they want to go take a vehicle. Now you're going to end up spending 5 years of your life in prison. And was that vehicle worth that? 5 years of your life?
okay.
Well, now that's what you're going to do. And you've made your life very difficult because now you're somebody who hasn't graduated from even high school and you're gonna have a felony conviction. It's all you. Court is going to find you guilty, sentence you to 5 years in prison, give you credit for any time served, take in consideration 2023 CR 0281, 2023 CR 1479, County Court Cause number 697768. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon and there's to be no contact with Donovan Treadwell. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. So young people, they think when they go to prison, it's the end of their life. You still have plenty of time to do great things on this planet. Me, I'm in the twilight of my life, but you have more time. So what you decide to do with your life is completely up to you. If you want to be in and out of prison, if you want to be the person at the prison, that's the oldest person at the prison, and people say, hey, how are things running here? And they say, go ask Grandpa Delgado. If you want that to be you, it can be. Otherwise, when you get out of prison with your felony conviction, you need to try to turn your life around. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Arlene.
You're welcome. Me too. Mr. Stevens and Mr. Acevedo. Yeah, Mr. Stevens sneaking up behind you. And there's a file that's missing because I only have,
But it's a mystery.
okay. Oh, let me give that to you then. There you go. Thank you.
May I have a copy of Mrs. Medina? Miss Maria Medina?
Okay. Hello, Mr. Stevens, how's it going?
I can never sneak up on this guy.
Yeah,
Can I have 2 minutes of your time?
sure. What's up?
My good friend Trevor Bear has a case set tomorrow. He's in trial in Austin. He's filed a motion for continuance.
Mhm.
I can have the man come in if you want to see Mr. Meyer.
Yes, have him come in, and if you will accompany him, Mr. Stevens, I know you will.
I will.
Okay.
I would like to. I know you got other things to do good, but I'd like to get in and out as quick as possible. Assuming you're gonna let me
Oh,
out.
it's first come, first serve in the 187.
Well, I'll be here. What time? What time?
9 o'clock?
I'll be here at 8:50, 8:45.
Oh.
Just what?
Well, you come at 8:30, maybe you can bring breakfast for everybody.
I'll be at 8:30.
Oatmeal, because we're all in the twilight of our life. We need to eat
I heard
healthy.
you say that, Judge. If you're in the twilight of your life, I'm in total darkness.
You turn on a light for Mr. Stevens.
I've been needing that for a long time.
So how old is your daughter now?
Uh,
I just remember her holding up the 2 fingers in
That's
the
the
phone.
one. She's just 24 years later.
Oh, my gosh.
And Mr. Acevedo and I went to a dance with my young one. We just saw her this weekend in Baltimore.
Oh, man.
She is now. We went to a dance. They were what, about 5 or 6.
You know what the good
Father
thing,
daughter dance, yeah.
yeah, but you know the good thing about being in the twilight of your life?
I want to know what.
Okay, here's the good thing about it. If everybody lived to be 200, they wouldn't let us retire till 180. Do you want to still be here at 180?
Well, I don't know. I'll do as many of them as I can.
That's as long as we're all healthy, that would be great. Well, it's good seeing you.
I'll see you again tomorrow.
Sure,
Good to see you.
yes.
So I also have Rachel Garcia, 22,700.
And where is she? All right, Rachel Garcia.
Deadline, you're on that.
All right. Oh, Brad. So yes, what are we doing?
Deadline, your honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On this case, recall it for Wednesday. Uh-huh. No. 9 a.m., that's your plea deadline. May 3rd.
Judge, may I have like 2 days? I've been out with COVID and I'm trying to catch up on a bunch of cases.
Okay, the only reason is because this case has been out here since 2022 with her not showing up. Then we had set in March for April 17th for disposition, and we keep coming back. So it's gonna have to be May 3rd. All right, thank you. Yeah. All right. Oops, sorry. No. And I don't know why that paperwork is there. All right, thank you. All right, Medina. All right, can I have the stamp, please? Court is calling 2020 CR 3303, State of Texas.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Court is calling 2020 CR 3303, State of Texas versus Maria Medina. Could I have all parties announced for the record? State defense.
Just possible for the defendant.
Are you Miss Medina?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I believe I have your honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. All right, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
It is your honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Medina, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this hasn't been sworn to. It's not. Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of controlled substance penalty group 1 less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court doesn't have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, sir.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, your honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, your honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, your honor.
Ms. Medina, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed, that needs to be signed? Has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, sir.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 29 days in the Bexar County Jail. Under 1244, there are no applications. The state will take in consideration NIMAG number 701484. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, sir.
Defense?
Subject to court approval, yes, your honor.
State?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, your honor.
Then to the officers charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea?
State off the state's exhibit 1, not.
No objection, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. Okay, in the indictment, it says the name is Maria Medina. So where is that in the police report, the name Maria Medina? I see a Mary Garcia. But I do not see a Maria. Ah, I found it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, taking responsibility for actions and would ask that the court would follow the plea bargaining agreement.
How old are you? All right, when are you gonna stop with this nonsense?
By Wednesday, this Wednesday, I bring some counseling and training.
All right. All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 29 days in the Bear County Jail on 1244, taking consideration NIMAC number 701484. Give you credit for any time served. Is this a judgment satisfied? Court will show that the judgment is satisfied. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, see you.
Yes. All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Sakwaniwich's client, he needs to be here tomorrow. And his client needs to be here tomorrow. All right, and what is your name? Who are you waiting for?
Rodney Green,
All right, you'll need to come back tomorrow.
I'm about